Okay, I'm gonna try to do this again because every time I will record this, I will realize that there's actually more I can say about it. So hopefully this is the last time. So Spider-Man Lotus has finally released, and after controversies, delays, it was not worth the wait. More than likely, I'm never going to use any footages from the actual movie because I'm not going back to the movie. I'm not going to watch it again, and I'm not going to even if I like sit through it in the background, do something else while it's recording. I just don't want to get certain scenes because one, this movie's too long, and it's just I don't want to go back to this movie. So more than likely, this is either going to be some gameplay of video games or maybe the trailer, if anything, because the trailer is really all you need to see about the movie because they show you all the best scenes pretty much. Before I talk about this is me. I'm tossing out all the controversy aside because when you do that, it just makes it worse for the whole how to like properly judge anything. So I'm going off the performance, the pacing, just the movie as a whole. The pacing is really bad. Each scene drags on forever with multiple camera cuts and scenes where someone's kind of just walking or just standing around in silence, and it just goes on and on. And I kept looking at my imaginary watch thinking, is this scene going to end? Like, what's up? You got multiple flashbacks, which probably takes like a good 70% of the movie. Barely any fighting scenes. There's like two at best, and one of them's not even important to the plot. It's more of just some filler before you get to the actual story plot. The Goblin fight scene, the one that we were kind of like shown multiple times, like, oh, this is gonna be a really good fight scene. It was it was kind of meh. There's only so much you can do in a fan film, so I'm not really gonna press on it that much. But the fight didn't go how I wanted it to. It was kind of just like, it was kind of simple. Like, yeah, Spider-Man flipped a little bit. There was some heavy punches, but I don't think Goblin even like used anything. Did he even throw a punch? I don't think so. See, that's how bad it is. I can't remember a single thing. Just that shot of Peter like repeatedly punching him. That's really all you need to like really know about the fight because that's pretty much the end of the fight. Anything else like the little flips and all that, that happened for like 5 seconds. So don't press on thinking it's gonna be like a cool 5 minute fight scene. It's literally not. And this one's a minor gripe for me, but the cameras felt like they were way too close to everyone. Like it never had like a far back shot to get like the whole body. Like you'll just get like some upper chest shots and like some massive zoom ins whenever you want to like show you something. Is like you can back up a little bit. Like they did a little bit too much. Like I've noticed like multiple shots of it. The movie did what I was afraid it was gonna do. After that famous swinging scene, I was afraid like that was gonna be like the only like cool scene about the movie because everything else was legit not up to par. Like that was like their best scene only, and everything else was just like it's really mediocre at best. I actually thought I'm pretty sure everyone thought that was like kind of like the opening scene to show that Spider-Man's doing stuff, he's swinging around, he's helping people, he's being Spider-Man. But no, that was really like the end of the movie swinging. When the Spider-Man does like his traditional web swinging around the city, like that's the end of the movie. I kept thinking it was like the opening scene on how you should start a Spider-Man movie, but it was not the case at all. And speaking of opening scenes, I forgot to mention it. It took a half hour to get to the title screen. I'm not even joking, because it just kept going on, and I'm like, okay. And then it finally showed. It had like a really long intro with like the opening credits of like the cast and all that. Okay, fine, but it really took. It felt like a half hour, and it's like, you guys are now doing the title opening screen. But like that shows the pacing of this. It felt like they didn't want to have any deleted scenes. They wanted to put everything they filmed in the movie, to be honest. And also, like, I wasn't even going to talk about it, but the CGI, like, you can tell what was worked on and what was kind of worked on, because with the development and then I think people leaving or I don't want to like misinterpret anything, but apparently everything wasn't worked on. I think there was like different teams working on the CGI, which is why some effects look good and the others didn't. Because there was one scene at the beginning with the car that looked like a video game, and I kind of hate when people say a CGI looks like a video game because it's animated. Like, of course, it's gonna look like a video game, but that looked really not the best, to be very honest. I don't know why they just couldn't get like a car like driving through like an empty parking lot and just use that footage. Like, yeah, like why were they even driving? And then they kind of just drove into an alley. Then this is like the first fight, by the way, and this is actually off the script too. Like, this is not even part of the script. I'm kind of just like thinking what happened at the beginning, and this is where we like see the Shocker, which I'm pretty sure he was a black guy. Funny enough, that fight wasn't that good either. They kind of just stand there, and then They try to show some Spider-Man sets or some, his trademark moves, but it didn't really go anywhere. Shocker had these like gauntlets, and when I first saw it, I'm like, is he even shooting out lightning? And you can see like some lightning coming out from like the top of it before he fires, but then it explodes instead of erupting some electricity. But whatever. One of his web shooters kind of malfunctioned, and then I'm like, okay, he's probably going to improvise, use his other one that probably works and take them out. But then they both worked at the convenient time to where he landed like a really weird looking uppercut. It didn't even look like it connected, to be honest. And then the fight's over. Then no, not even no cops, not even like when the cops show up to arrest the bad guy, take him away. Spider-Man has him like webbed up on top of a street light, saying, "Oh, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man." No, it just cuts to the next scene. So whenever a scene feels like it's about to like end, or like it was gonna kind of like add some extra scenes, like, all right, this is how you really end the scene to transition to the next scene. It didn't go that way. It just kind of just cuts off. I'm like, okay, that was kind of quick. But yeah, going back to the whole Spider-Man thing, swinging. You don't really see Spider-Man do a lot of stuff in this movie. Like he kind of just stands there thinking about life, grieving, or he's maybe swinging. And I'm saying maybe in the most like tame voice ever, just because he like the swinging that you've seen in the trailer is literally everything you've seen in the movie. Like there's not any extended swinging. There's like maybe one that you haven't seen, but it only goes for like 3 seconds. 90% of the swing you've seen in the trailers is literally in the movie. Like there's really nothing else added to it. If you've seen part of the Goblin fight with the preview, that's the whole Goblin fight. There's nothing else. So there's like any scenes that you think is kind of interesting is no. It just kind of ends like a minute after that scene, or maybe a few seconds. So nothing's extended. Every cool scene that happens ends abruptly, leaving you thinking, that's it? Okay. They either should have added more or just not show the best scenes in the trailer. Then again, how are you going to convince people this is actually a good movie? There's also like a lot of city shots. Like we get it. You're in New York. You want to showcase all the areas, but they do it a lot and they go on forever. We know where we are. Like you don't have to like keep showing us like street signs or like any street lights or any type of like New York landmark. Like we don't care, to be honest. Like you can show a few, but not like 10. Like come on. I'm not gonna call out any actors, but most performances here was not good at all. Like it feels like when they shot the scenes, it felt like more of a rehearsal before we actually film it. But then they're like, you know what? It's actually pretty good. We actually might just use this footage. Like, no, you better reshoot that shit, cause bro, that was not good. Like, it felt emotionless when they talked, and then like the constant camera switching back and forth between two characters talking, it is so noticeable and it's annoying. I'm like, god damn, just keep it in one set. Okay, you can switch there and there, but don't switch it every 2 seconds. That's like a fight scene that has like multiple cuts, or Liam Neeson climbing over a fence. Like it's that noticeable. The movie skips a lot of stuff pertaining to the key plot elements like Gwen's death, and we're left with like a weightless aftermath of everyone feeling affected by the deaths of Gwen, Norman Osborn. They try to play it off like it's a sequel and we're already attached to the characters. We're not. We know the characters, but we don't know these characters' personalities. We get like a 5-minute montage of Peter, Gwen, Harry, and MJ, and I literally felt no connection. Like I didn't give a damn about anything they did, and they're sitting there crying, just thinking. I'm just like, I don't feel anything because I barely know you guys. Like I get you guys have history, but we don't know your history. Like you guys don't want to just jump the gun just because we know the characters. I was literally writing this as I was watching it because I'm not watching this again. There's just so much talking. Like, if I was watching this in theaters, I'm not even joking, I would have been knocked the fuck out. If not, I would just be staring blindly at the screen, looking like Homelander. Like, there was a scene when MJ and Flash were talking. It felt like it went on for like 10 plus minutes, and I was able to write half of this by the time they were done talking. Like, I swear to God, I don't even know what they were talking about. Cause it just kept going on and on. I assume it's just like MJ just feeling bad or wanted to reconnect with her friends. I literally do not know. Like whatever they said, it just went out the other ear for me. So somebody knows, like just let me know, cause I don't know jack of what happened there. I get that this is a fan film, not a high budget movie, so I'm not expecting top tier fighting or multiple swinging scenes around the city. But Jesus Christ, like they couldn't have thought of something else to make the story interesting. This movie is pretty much the aftermath of a tragedy that we didn't even see. Like, yeah, Gwen died. Would have been cool to see, like, exactly how she died. but then it's more of just like the toll it put on Peter of him giving up being Spider-Man. But it's just like everything happened too fast in a movie that's so slow paced. That's funny. To be very honest, this movie is so slow paced. They kind of just brush over like the main things that like why the characters are acting like that, and then it's just like if somebody died and you're depressed for like 2 days. This is literally like that movie, but in like the worst way possible, the most boringest way possible. This was supposed to be an emotional story about loss, but with no connections with anyone, especially Spider-Man, it just falls flat with the plot feeling empty. There's also a kid who's sick that Spider-Man talks to, and I didn't care. I was tuned out at that point. The movie ain't even done yet, and I'm already convinced it's a 2 out of 10. I would rather rewatch Wonder Woman 84, the Resident Evil show on Netflix. I would rather sit through an hour video essay on why somebody doesn't like a movie that I personally like. It gets a 2 for only 2 reasons. The Spidey suit is great, especially the shot of him on that bridge while it's raining. It goes hard, I'm not gonna lie. And the soundtrack is pretty good too. Those are the only 2 things. But everything else, I'm sorry, it just wasn't that good, and maybe they should have delayed it even longer. Probably even reworking the whole movie as a whole. The movie really doesn't know when to end. Like after a heartfelt monologue, you think it's about to end there, but it really doesn't. It goes to a new scene, and it's like, how was that not the ending? There's like 3 scenes that easily could have worked as the ending of the movie, but it's like they use all of that and then they just move on to something else. Like, how long is this freaking movie? What I really hated was when he went back to the suit because he gave up being Spider-Man. The kid he talked to convinces him to, return being Spider-Man. I don't know how the freaking conversation went. Apparently there was something funny about it. Like, he's basically like telling the kid who idolizes him about, yeah, being Spider-Man sucks. That's a few comments that I've seen from that. And it's just like, he's on the bridge, the same bridge where he like had that cool shot in the rain. He jumps off the bridge, and then you see like that little swinging scene, and they show that I think in like the final trailer. And then after that, it just goes on to a new scene. I'm like, come on! I'm thinking he's gonna swing for like a good 30 seconds, and then what I hate about it was you keep thinking he's gonna do something as Spider-Man, but he doesn't. He kind of just whenever he's in the suit, he's kind of just like sitting there, like just sad. Like that scene there looked like the perfect scene to show that he's gonna be back as Spider-Man. I'm thinking he's gonna swing back to the city, save somebody from being robbed in an alleyway or something. But no, it just cuts back to either Peter or another fucking 10-minute segment of MJ talking to who the fuck else. I like, what the fuck is going on? What is with this fucking? Why is it constructed like this? I seriously don't get it. Whatever potential had to be a really good scene, it just they fuck it up by just having it end there. And just move on to something like completely boring. It's either a talking section or a flashback. That's literally the only 2 things you get from this movie. I feel bad for whoever funded this because I feel ripped off and I contributed nothing to this movie. My friend was trying to warn me. He was telling me time is money, do something else. I should have listened. After this, I honestly never want to see a fan film ever again. And apparently there's been a lot of fan films being like advertised now. Where are they coming from? Why is now being like the rise of fan films? And yes, there was some before, but now I'm starting to see like a repeated trend of like either DC or Marvel characters. Like, okay, not everyone needs a fan film. I get like you have a passion for the project, but unless you're telling a really unique story, not some generic crap, especially when it comes to Batman, I don't want to see it. I really don't care. And I'm not seeing that Superman solo film. Like, I've seen a few clips from that on Twitter. No. I honestly take back every bad thing I said about Tom Holland's Spider-Man. And I don't want to hear a single person complain about Snyder's Superman after seeing these projects freaking be released to the public. I wish I could unsee it, just rewinding the footage out of my brain, but it's too late for that. I forced myself to finish watching it just so I could see what they had to offer and just never look back again. This movie makes The Amazing Spider-Man look like an Oscar-worthy film. Probably the funniest thing was looking at the live chat during the movie because I was watching it when it premiered, and just everyone just ripping on it or just like spamming just some random words or like it's an 8 out of 10, it's a 2 out of 10. I'm just like, you guys are just saying anything, aren't you? I thought this movie was a good hour and a half, but no, it is 2 fucking hours of just talking. If you don't chop up 30 minutes off this shit, or they should have took a whole hour out this movie and maybe it wouldn't be as bad, but I honestly doubt it. This did not need to be 2 hours, and I don't mind long movies. I watched the Snyder multiple times, I watched the Batman multiple times, I watched both Avatar movies multiple times. But this 2 hours? No. It should have been an hour at best. Not no hour and 30. Even though I just said it. Definitely not no 2 hours. If this was like another half hour, 2 hours, like this is literally the length of a movie. So, we might as well treat it as a movie. This is a bad movie. This is literally the worst Spider-Man movie. If somebody really enjoyed this movie, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I want to know why y'all enjoyed it because to me, this was not a good movie, and I definitely would not want to see it again. I definitely would not recommend this to anyone, even if they are a Spider-Man fan. But yeah, some of this was kind of all scripted, but hopefully somebody really did enjoy this movie because I didn't personally. So, did you guys enjoy the movie? Did you guys watch it when it premiered? Did you watch it a day after it came out? Because it is free. It's on YouTube. You don't have to pay for it unless you funded a movie. But yeah, Spider-Man Lotus. Don't watch it.